the biggest challenge going to a place like Latin America is open your mind, because things don't work like that there. So just don't be overwhelmed by that. And you have to learn as you go because there is no book. I first came to New Zealand 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm from Brazil and I met my Argentinian husband here. And then we do a lot of things. It's very hard for me to tell what I do because I have so many different hats.
Yes.
But I think the main thing is that we met here and then we moved back to Latin America and then we had our own business there in the travel industry for 11 years. 8 years ago we moved to New Zealand and then we opened a travel business here that was focused on help Latin American suppliers to start to sell their products in Australia and New Zealand market.
Yeah.
And then we did that until COVID. And then when COVID, there was no way that we could do travel. So we started to think what else can we do and which sort of things we can work. And then is where we started to work with technology. And from there, we started to organize events. And I think that's our main thing now. We build community and we organize events.
Yeah, excellent. And so sorry, when you talk about travel industry and working from Latin America, what kind of specific countries were you kind of working from or working with?
Back there. So back there, we opened a business in Argentina.
Yep.
So that was it's called DMC, Destination Management Company. So the goal is to travel to other countries and bring business to Argentina.
Yep. Fantastic. And I suppose one of the first questions that I wanted to get into is, obviously, being in New Zealand for quite a long time now, and from the circles that you're in and people that you deal with on a day-to-day basis as well. Is it something that you hear much about in terms of New Zealand businesses thinking about entering the Latin American market?
Sometimes, it's not something that I hear a lot.
Yeah.
But I think I would think that's something that people should be considering because it's so many opportunities out there and it's a very big market. Yeah. So no, I don't hear as much, but from time to time people come and ask me.
Yeah. I mean, does it surprise you at all?
Not really. I think it's because I'm from there. So then it's obviously people who come to me and ask, you know what I mean? But I think it's just a common conversation because they want to know more about it. Yeah. And I know a little bit of both words, because I've done a business there, but I also done a business here. Yeah. So I can kind of relate it.
Yeah. And because the Latin American community here in New Zealand is actually quite strong as well.
It is, but I think it's funny because a lot of people would just be part of that community, very active, but I'm not. Because I believe that I moved to New Zealand to be part of it. So I'm super open to connect with all people. It doesn't matter where they're from. But there is a lot of people here. I've been to Iquique a couple of weeks ago. That's Argentina.
Okay.
it's crazy. It's really crazy. They have even the flags out there. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Obviously, Latin America is huge. And do you see that there's certain countries in particular that could or are providing the main opportunities for New Zealand SMEs?
Absolutely. It's very big and every country is completely different and even their culture is very different. Like work with somebody in Costa Rica or Mexico or Colombia and Brazil is totally different and you have to have a different approach. But if I was a business that I was thinking about, open this market, I would definitely go for not because I'm from Brazil, but Brazil because it's huge. So there is so many opportunities there. and I would also go to Argentina. I think, I think they're easier to work together. Like because it's a little similar in a way. It would be harder to work with two different cultures like Costa Rica and Brazil. They're so different.
Yeah.
You have to have a different approach.
Okay.
And learning that's quite hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you see the cultures in terms of like Brazil and Argentina being quite similar.
They're still different.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I always say that, if we're gonna compare something, is Brazil is carnival and Argentina is tango. So Brazilians are more like party, and Argentina is a little more dramatic.
Yeah.
But it's still, it's easy to adapt.
Yeah. Excellent. And I suppose the other thing as well is that, there is still a bit of proximity there between, New Zealand and Latin America. And you would have seen this, I suppose, from your travel business as well. Do you see that as something that people kind of underestimate as well in terms of being able to get to like Chile and maybe even Argentina as well?
I think people have it's funny because people have the wrong perception of, they feel that it's very far away.
Yeah.
It's super weird, but it's not.
No.
Like in 11 hours, you're in Chile.
Yeah.
So how cool is that? But then a lot of times when I am in a travel business and talking to people, then people would think that Europe is closer. How could that be? Come on, but it's just the way. So I think, in my role, part of it is to educate people and to kind of say, it's super close and it's easy to do business. Also, the time difference, you still have a few hours that you can do work together.
Yes.
Which is very important.
Yeah. Are there, any particular sectors or any areas that you sort of see as, a good opportunity for NZ SMEs?
Is that very hard question to
break that down?
Yeah, because it's so big, right? Because there are so many opportunities. But obviously, technology is a big one. Travel, hospo, all about energy and real estate. I think that are the ones who are that could be a potential to look at.
Interesting. And are there examples that you can give to describe the business culture in some of the countries as well? As a comparison to what you see in New Zealand from over the years. So I think I can see by your side that there's quite a few.
It is. I think it's crazy, and I think it's super important that part because if you're not open to adapt and change, then don't do it. If I come here in New Zealand and I act as a Latina in business, I won't do any business. And the other way is the same.
Yeah.
And I think the huge difference is that first, New Zealand is very laid back, as a business culture.
Yeah.
When you say I stop working, we're not like that. We're varying things.
Yeah.
And we are very customer focused in a way but it's very hard to explain. But my first role in New Zealand, I was working for somebody else, and I was a national account manager. And one day the boss came to me and said, "You're replying to emails too fast. Can you reply in 24 hours because you're making all the people look bad?"
Oh, okay.
So I think it's the main things is to understand that because I was being too pushy for Kiwi style.
Yeah.
I had to take a step back and behave in a different way.
Yeah.
And the same thing would work otherwise. People in Brazil would feel that we don't care enough.
Yeah.
So I think that is one thing. And then the second thing is that we are very straightforward here, right? So in a way that yes and no. We offered somebody to be a client, and they would say, "Oh no, thank you, we're not interested."
Yeah.
You know, and for me at the beginning it was like, oh, how come that person was saying no to me, you know?
Yeah.
But now I understand, and it's now for me that I've been here for years, it's easy because I know no is a no, and I don't have to keep knocking that door at that time.
Yeah.
But that never happens there.
Okay.
So people are more, they would say, oh, no, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, but then you never know if it's a, you know,
it's
like
a firm no or it's not.
Exactly. You don't know, so you just keep going.
Yeah.
And I think going straight to business doesn't really work there.
Okay.
Here you go straight to business, talk to business, and you can only do business with that person and not have a personal relationship with that. That is different. You go first building a connection and a relationship first, and then you talk business.
Yeah.
People don't like to do business with people that they don't have a relationship.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Interesting. And do you think that changes at all though in terms of like some of the countries compared to others as well, the cultures?
It does, but not so much in that level.
Yeah.
I think there is. I think Brazil and Argentina, they are more straightforward. They will tell you more what they think. Some other countries, they will just do as they are told, even though that is not the right call.
Yeah.
You know, because you're the boss.
Yeah.
But not in Argentina, in Brazil, if you say, oh, we're implementing this business and this is the idea, we need to target these people. If they don't think that is right, they will tell you, which is good because they have the knowledge from that country. So then you can do it right.
Yeah.
And when you go to, I don't know, it happens to me, in Colombia, that a client requested a hotel, but the supplier didn't believe that hotel was good, but they still provided that hotel because the client was asking.
Oh, right. Okay. And was the client happy?
No, because it wasn't a good hotel, you know? So that is a culture.
Yeah.
It's a different culture. Yeah.
You know, what have you seen or what do you see as the key challenges for New Zealand companies, you know, aside from, you know, what you mentioned around those cultural considerations, but exporting into the Latin American markets?
Yeah, I think that the culture thing is not so difficult to fix, right? It's just knowing and acting. Like, you know, like when I started my business here, I started to act as a Kiwi, and then I was being more successful because of that until people get to know me, and then I can get back, you know? But it's an easy fix. You just have to know. So that part I would think that is very manageable. I think the other part, the other big challenge is because we are so spoiled here and everything, we take everything for granted. You open a company in 24 hours and you start to operate. And you know how much is the tax, and you can calculate, so you have your product, you put the tax on the top, straightforward. So you only focus on making, you know, doing business. The biggest challenge going to a place like Latin America is open your mind, because things don't work like that there. So it will take longer, you feel frustrated, you have different steps, and you have to sometimes find different ways to sort it out your problem because the easy solution might not work. So I think in that space, finding somebody on the ground that has the knowledge and can give you the good advices and help you and coach you to do in a right way, that is very important.
So are there, I suppose, any common mistakes that you've seen Kiwis go through, or, you know, when entering those markets?
Yeah, I would think that is going too straightforward. Building the relationship, because then if you, the same way I sound pushy here, you know, the other way around also happens. So then lack of interest or being too straightforward, it can be a big thing when you're doing business, right? And there's no right or
not
wrong.
Taking that time to sort of foster the relationship, etc.
Yes, and I think is we connect very deeply, very quickly. And that is hard for somebody that's not used to, you know? So it's like we can become best friends in 5 minutes, and that never happens here.
Yeah. No, that's true. You know, what strategies have you seen work best for companies, you know, trying to break into different Latin American markets as well, you know, when it comes to either the marketing side of things or products or services?
I think it's doing a bit, very important to do a bit of a marketing research to understand how it is. Make sure like you go there, you spend time there, you start to understand that.
Foster the relationships.
Exactly. So if you want to open doors, you gotta be there. You know, you have to be there, and you have to be creating those relationships. So people would think that, you know, okay, I'm selling to Brazil, and then just stay here and just then it's very cold for us. So you actually have to, you know, get there and start to build these relationships, and trying to also have partnership with companies that can support you. I think partnership is key to be able to have another business person that you actually can say, what do you think about this? You know, to make sure that that works in that place.
So have you seen, you know, like, is it important, you know, in terms of adapting some of the products and services for that market as well? Like, have you seen things which you just know, you know, that they work here, but they would just never work?
100%, because we, you know, because all these things that we were just talking, that is so, we're so different. So I think it's really important to adapt and change and everything, right? The way you reply to your clients and your project. So go there and test it first. You know, get a few people on the ground to make sure that your product or your service or whatever you do works there. Before investing money. Because if you do that, and you know, and I always like that, getting people, you know, your early adopters, you know, getting these people to be your founding members, so they can give you feedback, you know, and
turn them into your advocates, and
exactly. But then you have the chance to adapt your product to your service before going to market, and that is very good, because you then, when you're going with something that you know is going to work for the market. It's just not like, oh, let's see how it goes, you know?
So our next question is probably very broad, because it probably changes from country to country so much, but are there, you know, common regulatory or legal things that people need to account for, or need to think about, especially in certain countries like Brazil?
Yes. And yes, and it's quite hard to reply that, but because you're right, it will change even from city to city in Brazil, because Brazil is so big. So the way people do business in São Paulo will be completely different than people do business in the north. You know, so yes, and will be lots, and that will be the intense part of it, the hard part of it, because things are so straightforward to us and it's so easy. So will be lots of different little things that you can never imagine. So just don't be overwhelmed by that. And you have to learn as you go, because there is no book. Nothing tells you, you know, nothing will, there is no, you know, like as I said to you before, when I started to open my travel business there for the first time, it took me 1.5 years just to get the license. So there we go, you know? So go slow, you know, and always search for somebody on the ground that has the knowledge and can give you the good advice on how they think things will work. I think that is pretty important.
So what advice, you know, what would be some of the main things that you would say to people that are kind of just starting out on this journey, or just even considering some of those markets as well?
I think it's always good to have a strategy and a marketing plan in place. Go step by step, you know, like don't pretend that, okay, I'm I'm going there,
Yeah.
you know, rather just jumping on it, make a plan,
Yeah.
you know, making sure that you understand the culture and how things work there. When you start to do business, ask people
Yeah.
feedback,
Yeah.
you know, to make sure that you have the right tone and you're doing things right. And yeah, and I think before jumping, you just have to understand first, and then take it step by step.
Yeah.
Build that slowly rather than, no, I'm going to conquer the world tomorrow.
Or conquer Latin America. Which
Exactly.
Is just, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And just to, I suppose, give some context sometimes as well, because I think, again, you know, we underestimate, you know, when we talk about some of these countries, like the huge populations that there are, but also when you talk about Sao Paulo, it's like, okay, so population is
18,
roughly?
I don't know, 18 million maybe?
18 million?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's just, I haven't checked the numbers lately, but it's
Yeah.
huge. You
Yeah.
know, it's like it's for sometimes it's so big that people don't even get to see each other. Like my sister and I, we have the similar friends.
Yeah.
Sometimes she only see hers when I go there. That's how big it is.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So you have to make the effort. Yeah, but also there is much opportunity because of that.
Yeah.
Because there is so many industries, so many people,
Yeah.
and so like here, because of the size of it, you only have one shot, really.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
to do things right.
Yeah.
Because you always get to know and will be know, and you know, like you go to the supermarket and you see your possible client there, or
Yeah.
you know, it's a small,
Yeah.
so it's good. But also you have only one shot. In places like that, because it's so huge, then you have much more opportunities.
Yeah, definitely. Excellent. So you can kind of go a niche within a niche in
okay.
certain areas as well.
Yeah, and it will be harder marketing-wise, it's harder that, because how do you make your message to get to people, right?
Yeah.
Here is easy. We target and we know they're getting there.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, opportunity is huge.
Yeah, yeah. And so what do you sort of see for the future, or, you know, what do you see as some indicators in terms of, I suppose, trade links, travel links, that type of thing happening around Latin America, and being able to connect easier for New Zealand businesses?
You mean by traveling? Getting there?
Yeah, traveling, or, you know, other trade side of things as well, in terms of different opportunities around that.
Opportunities will always, you search for the opportunity, right?
Yeah.
It's Latin America is about that.
Yeah.
Then nothing is straightforward, and there is no correct path or indication. Okay, I have to do this and that.
Yeah.
It's all about jumping in there, making a plan, and exploring different things.
Yeah, awesome, excellent. Well, thanks for your time. And I suppose the other thing that I just wanted to say as well is, or ask, is what's on the horizon for you over the next kind of 6-12 months?
Well, we are working on that right now. So we just finished our 2 big conferences.
Yeah.
So now we are just deciding what is next.
Yeah.
So we're probably planning to do 2 more conferences.
Yeah.
So now we're just deciding what. So we will keep doing the 2 that we already have.
Yeah.
So technology and travel, and then we will bring 2 more. Because I think it's working, and building community, you know, as being a Latina for us is key, you know, and I do believe that when you connect as a human being, then it's easier for you to make the magic happen or do business. Yeah.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, thanks for coming in today.
No worries. Cheers.
Great.